So the first question is from Tarulata Didi, your disciple from Belarus. And she asks, what does Maharaj expect from his disciples? What kind of service?
She's from where?
Belarus.
Belarus.
Yes.
Oh, Hare Krishna. Well, I'm reminded of Srila Guru Maharaj's answer when he said, acquiring the proper angle of vision, as we find from Rupa Goswami in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he's delineating what is pure devotion, and it's very subtle and nuanced what really is pure devotion, and of course Sri Rupa is the expert. Says, Anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadyanavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktirutama. How there should be no ulterior motive for service other than, well, it's interesting. It says in one place that if you think of it, anukulyena krishnanushilanam means just what is favorable or Krishna, what Krishna wants, then how do we explain when Krishna is sucking the breast of Mother Yashoda and she leaves Krishna to tend to the milk that's boiling over on the stove? That would seem to contradict that type of definition. So, in one place they're saying that what's really the favorable attitude in the heart of the devotee, they're thinking what is best for Krishna, how to serve Guru and Vaishnava. So Guru Maharaj summed it up saying, acquire the proper angle of vision. And the primal Guru mantra, Om Jnana Tirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, is some acknowledgement on the part of the disciple. They're expressing some appreciation or gratitude for the proper angle of vision being extended from Sri Guru. Because the world has made so much of an impression upon us in our hearts and minds, what's sometimes described in Sanskrit terminology as sanskar, means mental impressions, not only in this lifetime, but that are carried over from lifetime to lifetime. So many mental impressions are there, forming what Guru Maharaj calls acquired prejudice. So there's already, on the basis of our karmic situation, an acquired prejudice, how we're going to interpret everything. So that can't be the way that we view Krishna consciousness, the way that we view Guru, Vaishnava, devotees, Seva, all these things, on the basis of some acquired prejudice in the world of misconception. So there has to be a willingness to offer oneself in service. And service means what's coming down from the higher plane. Not that what we can verify seems like a good idea or is pleasing to us, but what comes down to us through Guru and Vaishnava and their agents. So I like that all of those in connection with me, that they're serving the local leaders who are working in cooperation with Srila Avadut Maharaj. I know that there's very scant association. So Srila Guru Maharaj says, when we're not at an ashram, a center, a mat, a temple, then more emphasis will be given upon reading the books, the scriptures, taking the holy name. There may not be so many conventional service opportunities. But still, whatever our situation is, Shrotavyas kirtitavyas cha smartavyas chechchatabhayam, that we should hear about Krishna and his devotees, his pastimes, his qualities, his divine forms, his avatars, his incarnations. Glorify them, remember them. We have things other than Krishna consciousness competing for our attention and for the soul's wealth, which is her serving potential. So we have to be cautious that we take advantage of every opportunity that comes our way. Sometimes Srila Gurudev would say, spiritual practices you can perform anywhere, but that a service opportunity comes to you that's not available anywhere and everywhere. So when service opportunities do come, we should take them very seriously and give it our full energy and attention. Yeah.
Next question is from Izhevsk devotee. I feel like all my life I have been choosing to serve God, not to exploit.
Choosing?
To serve God, not to exploit.
Not to exploit?
Yes. Why then I am in the material world?
Something must be off in your calculation. When Guru Maharaj was having a discussion with some devotees, and one devotee, he said, "Oh, I feel sad for all the innocent people in the world." And Guru Maharaj said immediately, "There are no innocent people." He said, "We have all betrayed our Lord. That's why we're here." So it's good that you're reconfiguring yourself and restructuring your life in a service-centered way. But again, in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of Rupa Goswami, he's mentioning what they call prarabdha karma, aparabdha karma, different stages of karmic expression, what we've got in this life, what may come in the future, but what was also there in the past. So we didn't come into this world to serve Krishna, unfortunately. Now that opportunity is there, and it's good. If you can't remember a time when you were not serving Krishna, then my dandavats. That's the liberated position. The devotee may reach a stage where they don't remember ever any other type of life or condition. Just like Guru Maharaj likes to call Vasu Ghosh, Jarigor Nohoita, Tabiki Hoita, Kamari Doritam Dehe, Radhar Mahima Prema Rasasimo Jagata Janatake. He's so happy about Mahaprabhu and Radharani and all the devotees, and he's thinking, like those Braja Gopis, Rupa Goswami's Chaitanyastakam, Sureshanam Durgam Gati Ati Shayanopanishadam. Suresh Durgam. Even the gods, the highest type of gods, they don't get this. Ati Shayano Upanishads, they're bereft. Later, when they realize the possibilities, they're apologetic with regard to their not fully clearly indicating Krishna Lila. What to speak of Gaura Lila? So he's saying, they're Muninam Sarvasam, Pranata Patalima, Madhurima, Vinir Yasya Premno, Nikila Pashu Palam Bhujadusham, Satchetanna Kime Punar Apidashor Yashatipadam. But the Braja Gopis, they're very happy to see that the sort of wealth that's within the heart of their mistress, that means Srimati Radharani, that Krishna has embraced that position. What can be better than that? Like if someone important joins, we like to advertise, broadcast that to everyone. So it's like in Mahaprabhu's time, when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was converted, they're telling everybody about it. So, but here, the Braja Gopis, they converted Krishna to their cause. Now he's a devotee. And did you hear Krishna's become a devotee? So what to speak of anybody else? We converted Krishna to this. And the sort of love that is in the heart of our mistress, now that's Krishna's mad with that. And so Basu Ghosh, he's so happy about all these things. His world is a very beautiful world. Krishna has descended as Gauranga Mahaprabhu, like in the Arati song we sing at night. And he enveloped in the heart and halo of Radharani. Radharani's little smiling, Manda Hasa, a little smile. Like maybe the origin of the Mona Lisa smile. Better, million times better than the Mona Lisa smile. She is smiling. Oh, Krishna, you've taken my heart. Now you see what I've been experiencing all this time. So he's for a devotee, real devotee, like Vasu Ghosh, like that Sajjan Toshini, the pleasure of those type of devotees. We want to be bathed in their vision. And Guru Maharaj says, acquire the proper angle of vision. Acquire the angle of vision of Vasu Ghosh, who cannot imagine a time without Gauranga, without having this connection, a world without Gauranga. And if he has to really stretch his imagination to factor in that there are those who, in the not too distant past, the recent past, didn't apparently have any connection with Gauranga, were born into a world where their Gauranga connection was not apparent. He says, but in time they got connection with Gauranga. Then he's thinking, then that's tenable. That anticipating your connection with Gauranga, for some time it appears. Like we think Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Dabir Ka, Sarkar Malik, for some time, they're counting the days when they can join Sri Chaitanya Dev. And Nityananda Prabhu is like that. Raghunath Das Goswami. For such great devotees, how they can live without Mahaprabhu it's unbearable. When Mahaprabhu sends Gadadhar Pandit to Puri and says, cannot go with him, it's so pathetic. Kaviraj Goswami is saying, this will melt rocks, melt a stone-like heart. What do you say, pathos. How pathetic that they have so much love for him and have to live in separation for some time. Gadadhar Pandit was told to take the Kshetra sannyas, to live in Puri and never leave it. And he said, I throw that. To hell with the Kshetra sannyas, I want to be with you. Mahaprabhu said, I understand that, but it's not so good. Dispense with your vow like that. But Gadadhar Pandit, when Mahaprabhu came back to Puri, Gadadhar Pandit cooked very nicely, as we can't conceive, but being Radharani herself, and there's no better cook than Radharani. Even Yashoda employs Radharani in cooking. This is this is a kitchen religion. Cooking is very important in Krishna consciousness. Our scriptures have recipes in them. What other scriptures have a list, like the slokas are all different types of prasadam. Some of them go on, page after page after page. And Srila Gurudev, he knows what all these things are. I would learn one or two new ones a year, but he knew what all of them are. And at Saki Charan Babu's house, they would make these incredible kind of feasts. 50 years later, Gurudev would still be talking about it. So anyway, they want to cook for Mahaprabhu. Tapan Misra, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and his wife, Advaita Acharya and his wife, Mother Sachi, Raghava Pandit, and Damayanti. So, what was the question?
Why then I'm in the material world?
Oh, why this person? Well, to get this connection, that's why. Here, there's some opportunity. Sudurlabha Bhagavata Hiloke, very rare opportunity in this world to get the association of the Maha Bhagavata, the great devotees of the Lord. Sangsaresmin kanadopi satsanga sevadirninam. Why are you in material? To get the treasure of material existence. Sevadir means treasure. It is the association and service of the devotees, which is a real connection with Krishna. And to extend that to others, like a chain. When Mahaprabhu, by hearing Mahaprabhu's Krishna Nam, and others would become infused with Krishna Prem, then they would in turn extend that to others. They'd become infused to others, like chain reaction. Super spiritual, devotional chain reaction. That's actually what the Krishna consciousness movement is. So wherever we are, it's by Krishna's arrangement. So then you think, why has Krishna put me in this situation? If not, it's a favorable opportunity to hear about him, sing his glories, remember him, associate with and serve his devotees. That must be the reason.
Next question is from Dinanath Prabhu, Belarus. Srila Sridhar Maharaj often quotes a shloka from Bhagavad Gita 6.40 Nahi kayana krit kaschit durgatim tata gachati, and translates it as a sincere person cannot be deceived. Sincerity is invincible. A sincere one will never lose his way. It seems that there is also a gradation in sincerity, from the absolute sincerity of Srila Sridhar Maharaj to the full self-delusion of some addict. It's almost never...
Of what?
Of some addict. ADD. Addict. Yes.
Addicts.
Like opposite of sincerity
Uh-huh.
person. It's almost never clear who is acting at the present moment, real I or my mind. The question is, how to strengthen sincerity, how to increase its level, and how to learn to desire the spiritual things.
Well, it means to be proactive, that when I say satsanga, sadhu sangha satovare, by superior association we improve. And Guru Maharaj quote the famous sloka, Krishna bhakti rasa bhavitamati kriyatamidi kutopi na labhyate tatra loyam mulyam ekalam janma koti sukritayar na labhyate. You won't get this by doing the right thing for 10 million lives. But in one life, in one moment, labhamatra sadhu sange sarva siddhi hoy, a moment's association with the right type of devotee, properly qualified, that can give one everything. And what transpires in that moment? The awakening of the lolyam, hunger, hankering for Krishna consciousness. Sometimes Guru Maharaj called it hunger. So Shyamananda Prabhu, Guru Maharaj's disciple, he said to him, then how to get this hunger? And Guru Maharaj said, associate with the hungry. Like we were just talking about prasadam. Someone who really has a great appreciation for that and taking prasadam, like Srila Gurudeva, just by his discussing those things, that could awaken your hunger. It's similar to that. By hearing Vasudeva Katha Ruchi, those who have some relish for hearing about Krishna. Right? Dharmasya svanustita pungsang vishakshena kathasuya notpadaye yadi ritim shrama eva hi kevalam. Otherwise we're wasting our time. So hearing about Krishna is very important. The form of literally hearing and talking and reading as well, to hear from the scriptures in that way. Jata shraddha mat katasu nirvina sarva karmasu. And it's understandable that we're in the neophyte position, we're aspiring servitors, we're trying to go in the right line. And sometimes the residual effects of our karmic activities. There's still some movement there, but a sincere devotee will, and Guru Maharaj expressed sincerity as appreciation for the truth, they will lament their deviation or distraction or whatever it might be, and with renewed adherence and faithfulness, take to the line and go on hearing about Krishna, associating with, serving devotees, and gradually that will convert into some substantial appreciation. Shraddha, sarusanga, bhajana kriya, anartha nivritti, nishta, ruchi. So, when Srila Guru Maharaj says that sincerity is invincible, and he is who sincere will be victorious, he's factoring in that there are difficulties along the way. Durgam patastat kavayo vidanti, those in the know, the kovida, they've said there are many obstacles on the path, sometimes causing us to retrace our steps, to go backward, and then with increased momentum to cross over some obstacle. So many things are there, but he's saying inevitably the sincere person will be victorious because sincerity is invincible. And sincerity means to not indulge in self-deception. So we have to factor in that we have a strong tendency towards self-deception. That's back to that first question, why are you in the material world? Self-deception. So that we have a strong tendency towards self-deception, that leads us to place ourselves under the guidance of sadhu, shastra, guru, and Vaishnav, so at least we'll be going in the right direction. Sometimes Guru Maharaj will mention, to come out of the mud, you have to walk through the mud for some time. At least get going in the right direction and come out of that position. Yes.
Next question is from Ashutosh Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Online question. We have heard from Guru Maharaj that pure devotees do not like to allow for even a pinprick of service to come to them from Krishna, but only want to give. Thus the example shown by Sanatana Goswami and sweet rice is higher than the one shown by Madhavendra Puri and milk. But we have also heard that Krishna wants to serve his pure devotees. If Krishna desires so, why do such pure devotees do not want to accept his service? Is it because they doubt their own position?
That can be part, but also they revere that which is higher. They only want to serve that which is higher. Just as in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that was published under the direction of Srila Guru Maharaj, that the translators came to one section that was perplexing to them, where one devotee is saying, I don't care for Baladev, I don't care for Lakshmi, etc. And they thought, this doesn't sound like the expression of a devotee. It's like lacking humility. He's saying, I don't care for Baladev, I don't care, why is this being, this sort of expression and example being given? So they brought it to Guru Maharaj. He looked at it 2-3 times and said, that devotee is thinking, you're all in the served group, you're all worshipable, so we should be serving you. That even that you'll be serving it, no, we consider you the worshipable, like the Guru Varga. So we can only conceive of serving you. So it's something along those lines that, of course, sometimes it's mentioned by either Jiva or Goswami or Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur in her commentaries on the Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu. Sometimes devotees have to cry out for some help. They do that sometimes. But we're told in this, the examples mentioned, Sanatana Goswami Prabhu, this is supremely high example of that. And specifically towards Srimati Radharani. It's beyond what we can conceive. But when we say Radhar Mahima, she's so great, it is inconceivable to him to think of taking service from her. So, if the devotees are convinced that that is for the enjoyment of Krishna, that's the exception. As we're told, Radharani's group, they're only promoting her because they know she can satisfy Krishna the best. Right? And they get 10 million times more pleasure and happiness in that than direct connection with Krishna. But conversely, Srimati Radharani, her happiness is pushing her servitors toward Krishna at different times. And one of the unique aspects of Madhura Rasa is the devotee, they're offering themselves in service to Krishna. So, in some very, very high sense, things can be adjusted in some other way. But what we're talking about is more specifically to be the recipient of service. Not Krishna's enjoying mood, but service. Still, see, like in the Bhagavatam, it's inconceivable as well that when Sudama Vipra goes to Dwaraka, he's so poor, you can see his skeleton. And there's him, the rib, everything. He and his wife really have nothing. This is, the quintessential poor Brahmin. So when they think take something for Krishna, his wife, to get a palm full of rice, maybe they even had to borrow that. He's bringing in his cloth a palm full of rice in his cloth. When he arrives in Dwarka, what does Krishna do? As I was thinking about this, Gurudev names him Binoy Krishna. One meaning of Binoy is humble. So I was thinking at the time, when is Krishna humble? I mean, I think of him in so many different ways, but that wouldn't be the first thing that came to my mind. It's humble Krishna. But how humble is Krishna that when Sudama comes, Krishna puts him on a very beautiful, palatial chair, and Krishna's washing his feet himself, and Rukmini, his principal queen, she's fanning him. That's Vinaya Krishna, how humble he is. And he's so happy to get this opportunity to serve that devotee. And it's not for him to say, well, why is Sudama allowing? And you have to look carefully at that. but he's so besides himself, remembering his friend. He and Krishna were in the Gurukul together, or in school days. But so there are, when we say these things, it's not the Krishna is serving the devotees all the time, actually. But they don't ask for that. But how many times he's in the life of all devotees, Goptritle Bharan, every devotee been served by Krishna in some way or another. We may not even be aware of it, how Krishna is protecting us and arranging things. But that won't be the aspiration of devotee. Never. They're not thinking like that. But how to serve Krishna, how to give themselves to Krishna. And Guru Maharaj says that Radharani herself said, I'm famous, as a supreme devotee of Krishna. She said, but my sadness is in realizing that I couldn't give myself to him fully. That disturbs me. Right? Durdeva, this is my bad luck, misfortune. I couldn't really fully, truly give myself to Krishna. And she's the leader of all the devotees. And what does that tell us? Many things, but one is, how wonderful is Krishna? Inconceivably wonderful. Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam. So, the best is never enough. But at the same time, shows the standard of perfection. That the higher servitors have a higher standard of perfection and hold themselves to that. And that was Guru Maharaj's point with regard to Sanatana Goswami, that pastime. It's not in any way to decry the position of Madhavendra Puri. He's just, for the sake of analysis, giving some comparison. But we see Madhavendra Puri, he's on the one hand so happy to receive that cure of Gopinath, but when he thinks of the attendant fame, that his reputation will be that he's a great devotee of Krishna, he has Krishna prema, he's running from that. That consequence he's unhappy about.
One question. Maharaj, could you please explain these words of Srila Sridhar Maharaj? Self-forgetfulness doesn't mean self-extinction.
Yes. Like the word oblivion, self-oblivion, it means to lose yourself in something, but not to extinguish yourself. Or it's Arjun, nimitta matram bhava savya satyan. Arjun's offering himself to be an instrument to Krishna's will. So the higher devotees, the pure devotees, their hearts, mind, soul, everything is given over to the service of Krishna. That's what we mean. Losing oneself and service, but not extinguishing the self. Means the self is still there, but just infused with serving tendency and serving mood. Yes.
One question from Izhevsk devotees. We have heard that all of our defects can be used for service. Like anger we can use towards those who are against to our guru. But what can we do with lust?
Prabhupada says in his purport that our original love for Krishna has been pervertedly manifested as lust. So when those Kam, Krodh, Lobha, Matsarja, etc., they're mentioned, high examples are given, meaning Hanuman, perhaps the anger and retaliation for Ravana's kidnapping Sita, sets fire to Sri Lanka. And the Braja Gopis are most often given that, was it sloka kama krodha bhayad snehan? Like Kamsa is always angry, but he's thinking about Krishna. He wants to kill Krishna. He's meditating on Krishna 24 hours a day. But how to kill Krishna? So that's not anukul, favorable. But the Braja Gopis, they're, in one sense, thinking of Krishna the way teenage girls think of a beautiful, attractive boy. It's very similar to that. Right? Because we can say from a Jnana Shunya Bhakta point of view that they don't know he's God, they're just attracted to this boy who happens to be Krishna. That's true on a certain level, but from another point of view, we hear from Rupa Goswami and great Bhagavatamacharya commentators that it's not that these things are entirely unknown to them also. They're so deep in a particular role in Krishna Leela that they're forgetful of all these things, yes. So it's saying, so here's an example where these girls, they're just madly in love with this boy, and that takes them to the highest position. But one of Prabhupada's catchwords was dovetail. And he meant it in the sense of whatever tendencies you have, connect them to Krishna conception, to the service of Guru and Vaishnava, and then you'll get some benefit from that. So if we want to go from lust to, say, passion, you can be passionate about your service. That you can do. Employ your passion and trying to perfect whatever service it is you're doing for Guru and Vaishnava. That would be my advice. Hare Krishna.
Narottam Prabhu from Hungary and
Yes.
Rashishwari Didi from Ivoti, they are sending their Dandavat pranams.
Dandavats. Hare Krishna. Any other question?
Maharaj,
Yeah.
we've heard that Radharani is compared to liana, and
Compared to who?
this liana, this plant,
I don't know.
and the gopis like sprouts of little branches of this plant. No?
What about it?
I just wondered, like, what
No,
kind?
just think of like tulsi and manjaris,
So okay.
like a vine with
Nothing.
manjaris.
Okay, nothing particular, like specific.
It just, I mean, they're very high things, but all we have to understand is she, through her devotees, her assistants, get intense connection with Krishna. That's all we need to understand. Right? That's the principle that's involved. That who has Rasa Raj Mahabhav Duyakarup, who has the capacity to extract the most rasa from Krishna. That's her position. So, like we mentioned before, earlier in this talk, by going directly to Krishna, constitutionally speaking, a jiva has a very small capacity to exchange rasa with Krishna. But Srimati Radharani is known as Mahabhav. She has virtually infinite capacity to exchange. Predominating moiety, predominated moiety. The predominating half, the predominated half. Supreme positive, supreme negative. So she can draw highest quantity and highest quality of rasa from Krishna. So her servitors, they're always promoting her, and as a consequence, tasting divine spiritual substance that's beyond the constitutional capacity of a jiva soul to experience. If we can understand what that means, then you can understand one angle of why they're exclusively devoted to her. So it's mentioned in the Charitamritam, like that her connection with Krishna brings all of her serving group in connection with Krishna. So that's a very wonderful thing. And when Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Saraswati Thakur went on parikrama, touring the holy places in India, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that that's where this expression comes from, and expressed through Saraswati Thakur. Then, Vrindavan is for hollow, shallow thinkers. A man of real bhajan will prefer Kurukshetra. And the context that he made this statement is that Vrindavan is famous as the land of meeting, right? And that produces a particular type of ecstatic joy. But Kurukshetra is the zenith of separation. I'm talking after so many years of separation, Radharani and Brajagopis from Krishna. And again, they're meeting in Kurukshetra. So the principle is, as expressed by Guru Maharaj, that service, according to the intensity of its necessity, draws remuneration. Right? That's an important principle to understand. Service, according to the intensity of its necessity, draws remuneration. So then the spiritual experts like Bhaktivinoda Thakur are going to identify where is the greatest service necessity, in which pastime, in which place can we observe the greatest service necessity? Well, that will be where separation has reached its zenith point. That means Kurukshetra. Mahaprabhu, as Gurudev told, what is his tasting matter will reveal what we need to know. He is repeatedly relishing this viraha bhav, so where separations reach its zenith point. Therefore, what is the principal pastime of Mahaprabhu? The Rath-yatra. That he's celebrating with all his devotees. That's the meeting, Dwaraka, Krishna, Radharani and Brajagopis, where they want to take Krishna back to Vrindavan. So separations reached its zenith, and Radharani's serving necessity is greatest at this point. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur told, if we can enter that plane of service, he said there's no question of ever coming down to this world again. It's that powerful and rewarding. And Guru Maharaj put it this way, saying that, they told, Mahabhav, when we hear about Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anarthanavritti, Nishta, Ruchi, Ashakti, Bhav, Prem. But after that, Krishna Prem, then continuing, Sneho, Man, Pranay, Rag, Anurag, Bhav, Mahabhav. So, Mahabhav is the exclusive domain of Radharani and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Guru Maharaj said, with Bhaktivinoda's factor in mind, rendering service at the time of the greatest necessity, that Radharani, out of gratitude to her servitors at that time, says, here, taste what we're tasting, which means Mahabhav. He said, have a taste, that which is beyond your constitutional capacity to everything. Here, have a taste of that substance as my gratitude for services rendered. And Guru Maharaj said, once you've had a taste of that substance, all other rasas, what to speak of all other taste, become tasteless. So that's why another reason to put in the column, why her group is so devoted to her. They're tasting what is beyond the constitutional capacity of a jiva soul to relish. What is the impossible. Right? So, that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, Vrindavan is for shallow, hollow people. No, Vrindavan is for the highest section of liberated souls. Right? But from this perspective, he said, it's for shallow, hollow people. A man of real bhajan will prefer Kurukshetra. Was there a question? Why did I say this? Oh, I remember why. I know why. Yeah. So, Hare Krishna. Everyone is searching for sweetness. Baihe Vishajalahoy Vitare Anandamoy Krishna Prema Adbhuta Charit. But as Gurudev said, what is Mahaprabhu's tasting matter? Then you'll understand. Beyond the conventional sweetness of Vrindavan, the substance that can be relished in separation, that is unknown in this world. Pidabir Navakalakuta Katuta Garbhasya Nirvasano Nishandena Muda Sudha Muda Madhurima Hankara Sankochane Prema Sundari Nanda Nandana Paro Gayante Sputma Vikrantaya. I forget so many words, but Rupa Goswami saying, like being poisoned, the heart is languishing, it's full of anguish and separation, and at the same time being showered with some inconceivably sweet nectarine substance. That's the paradox of Krishna Prem. Union and separation. Hare Krishna.